Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Do you remember the thrill of finding a rare coin in your pocket change? Maybe it was a lucky penny or that old quarter you found buried under your couch cushions. Well, what if I told you that a coin from 1984 that could have been sitting around in your pocket might be worth a small fortune? Yup, I'm talking about the 1984 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that could potentially be worth $2.6 million in today's market. Sounds like a joke, right? But it's true. Stick with me because in the next 40 minutes, I'm going to walk you through why this coin is so valuable, how to spot one, and maybe even how you can get your hands on it. But first, let me ask you, have you ever just looked at your spare change and thought, is this worth anything? Well, after today, you might just look at those pennies a little differently. All right, let's dive in. So, 1984. That was the year of big things. You know, like the first Ghostbusters movie and the iconic release of Prince's Purple Rain album. But among all the cultural milestones, something else quietly slipped under the radar that year, a rare error in the minting process that would lead to the creation of a 1984 no-mint mark penny. And let me tell you, this coin is one of those hidden treasures that could be sitting right under your nose. Now, you're probably thinking, what's the big deal with a penny? After all, we all have a jar somewhere at home filled with pennies, right? The answer lies in a little thing called rarity, and with this particular penny, rarity equals big money. You see, coins minted in 1984 typically have a D or an S mint mark. The D stands for Denver, where the coin was minted, and the S represents San Francisco. But here's the kicker. Some of the 1984 pennies were struck without any mint mark at all. And when that happened, it created an incredibly rare and valuable coin that collectors and investors started paying big bucks for. Now, you're probably wondering, how do I spot one of these bad boys? Good question, because that's where the fun begins. Finding one is a bit like playing detective, and it's a lot more than just looking at your change jar. You've got to examine the coin closely. The absence of the mint mark is the first thing you'll want to check. But here's the thing, it's not just the mint mark that makes this coin worth millions. The penny needs to meet certain criteria to fetch top dollar. Let me tell you a story about my own personal experience. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, and there it was, an old coffee tin full of pennies, just sitting on a table. Naturally, I thought, hey, maybe there's something valuable in here. I mean, who hasn't had that thought, right? I bought the whole tin for a couple of bucks and took it home. As I sifted through the pile, I found an old 1984 penny without a mint mark. I got a little excited, thinking, could this be the one? But alas, after some research, I realized it wasn't the rare error coin I was hoping for. And that brings us to the importance of knowing what you're looking for. The value of the 1984 no mint mark penny is determined not only by the fact that it's missing the mint mark, but also by its condition. The better the condition, the more it's worth. If your coin is in near perfect condition, you could be looking at anywhere from $2,000 to $2.6 million, depending on the specifics. But don't get discouraged if yours isn't in mint condition. Even a penny with a little wear can still fetch a decent price, just not the $1 million jackpot. First off, you want to look for a reputable coin dealer. This is where I'd recommend getting your coin appraised. A lot of people try to sell their valuable coins on their own, but getting a professional opinion is always a good move. Trust me, having that extra set of eyes to confirm your find can save you from making a huge mistake. Another factor that plays into the value is the market demand. The coin market is always fluctuating. One year, a coin might be hot and worth a lot, but the next, it could cool off a bit. So it's important to stay updated on the latest trends and prices. Thankfully, there are some great online communities, coin magazines, and even local coin shows where you can connect with other collectors and keep up with what's trending. But it's not all about just knowing what the coin is worth. It's about the thrill of the hunt. The excitement of finding that hidden gem in a roll of coins or a box of old change you've had stashed away for years. And let's be real, there's something incredibly satisfying about finding something of value in something so small and seemingly insignificant. It's like getting the perfect punchline to a joke you've been waiting to tell. So, to sum it all up, the 1984 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is an awesome example of how rare coins can be worth a lot more than you might think. The current market value for a mint condition coin is around $2.6 million, and if you ever find one, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Just remember, be on the lookout, and make sure you're checking those pennies closely. It could be that the next one you pick up is worth more than you ever imagined. The 1984 no mint mark penny is one of those coins that could change your life if you find it. Whether you're just starting out in coin collecting or you're a seasoned expert, this coin serves as a reminder that there are hidden treasures all around us. So, the next time you're going through your change, don't just toss those pennies aside. Give them a second look. You never know what you might find. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into rare coins and want more tips, tricks, and coin collecting strategies, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next $1 million coin that could be sitting in your wallet right now. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, a penny is a penny, right? Well, buckle up, because what I'm about to share with you will make you rethink everything you know about those small, copper-colored discs. We're talking about a penny from 2021, a penny that's worth a whopping $2.7 million. Sounds too good to be true? Trust me, it's not. But before you start going through your pocket change, let me tell you the full story of this jaw-dropping find. It's got all the elements of a treasure hunt movie. Unexpected twists, confusion, and the kind of excitement you only feel when you think you've struck gold, or in this case, struck copper. So, let's dive in and take a closer look at this $2.7 million penny. What makes it worth so much, and what you need to keep an eye out for if you want to get in on the action. Alright, let's talk about the 2021 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. Yes, this is the same Abraham Lincoln penny you see circulating every day in your change. The one that's been around for years. But what's different about this particular 2021 D coin? To start, most of the time, when you get a penny in your change, you're probably not thinking it's worth more than its face value. What can you get for a penny, anyway? Maybe a gumball at the store if you're lucky. But here's where things get interesting. It all begins with the minting process. You see, pennies, like all coins, are struck in huge quantities, and usually, they end up being pretty uniform. But every now and then, there's a flaw, a mistake in the die, or something that causes a coin to be different from the rest. And that's exactly what happened with this 2021 D penny. It's not just the usual design. This particular coin has a major minting error that makes it extraordinarily rare, and that rarity is what gives it the $2.7 million value. Now, I can already hear some of you asking, okay, what kind of mistake are we talking about? Well, this penny has a double die error. Essentially, this means the image on the coin was struck twice by the minting machine, which caused the design to be misaligned. Most of the time, these errors are subtle, but in this case, it's noticeable enough that it makes the coin incredibly valuable to collectors. In fact, double die errors are like finding the needle in the haystack of everyday coins. It's rare, it's exciting, and it's worth a pretty penny. Literally, let me break it down for you. Normally, when you get a 2021 penny, it's not going to be worth more than 1 cent. But the 2021 D double die penny? Now that's something else entirely. There have been reports of similar errors in coins from previous years, and they've sold for big money. The thing is, you're not just looking for a random misprint. It's about recognizing the uniqueness of the error and getting it to the right people who understand the value. And that's where it gets tricky for most of us. Now, I'll admit, I've been bitten by the coin bug for a while now. I've found myself scouring through pocket change more times than I can count, hoping to find something special. And let me tell you, there's nothing like that moment when you look at a coin and realize, wait, this is different. It's like finding a hidden treasure in the most unexpected of places. I remember one time I thought I'd struck gold, or at least silver, when I found a 1964 Kennedy half-dollar in my wallet. My heart skipped a beat, and I immediately thought, this could be worth a small fortune. Turns out, it wasn't that rare, but it was still a cool find. This is one of those rare finds that could make you the next big coin star. Imagine going through your change jar and pulling out a penny that's worth millions. That's the stuff of dreams, my friend. So, how do you spot one of these precious 2021 D. Abraham Lincoln pennies? Well, first of all, you're going to want to be looking at those 2021 D coins closely. Now, don't go rifling through every penny you find in your couch cushions just yet. While the 2021 D double die penny is rare, it's not like they're all hiding under every rock. You'll need a trained eye to spot the error. Look at the details around Lincoln's head and the lettering. The doubled images will be noticeable, and if you see them, you could be looking at a treasure worth over $2 million. I'll be honest, I've spent hours at my kitchen table, carefully inspecting every coin I could find. Most of the time, It's like looking for a unicorn in a field of horses. But hey, you never know. And that's the fun of it. You just might get lucky. All right, now that you know the secrets of the 2021 D. Abraham Lincoln penny, you're probably wondering what your next move is. Well, the best thing you can do is get started. Check your change. Inspect those 2021 D pennies. And who knows, you might just stumble upon the next big thing in the coin world. It's like I always say, you can't find a treasure if you're not willing to search for it. Before you go off hunting for that elusive penny, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips, tricks, and stories to share with you about coins worth money, collecting strategies, and everything in between. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on what's coming next. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Keep those eyes peeled, and who knows, maybe your next penny is the one that will make you a millionaire. Catch you in the next video. And remember, keep searching, keep collecting, and most importantly, keep having fun with it. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. You ever had one of those moments when you're casually flipping through your change and you find something that makes you stop and say, "Hold up, this could be worth some serious cash"? Well, today, I'm about to blow your mind with a penny that could actually make you a millionaire. Yes, I'm talking about the 2002 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. This little copper beauty is worth a whopping $2.8 million. You heard that right, $2.8 million. If you've got one of these lying around, it might be time to pull it out of the drawer and check it out. But before you rush to your wallet, let me take you through why this penny is worth so much, how to spot it, and share a funny story of how I once nearly tossed one of these into the tip jar at a coffee shop. You're going to want to stick around for this one. Trust me. All right, let's talk about the 2002 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. Most of us don't think twice about pennies, right? I mean, they're practically pocket change. But every once in a while, a coin comes around that defies the odds and becomes worth more than the sum of its parts. The 2002 D penny is one of those rare exceptions. First off, let's dive into why this penny is worth so much. This is not your average penny. A 2002 D penny with the right features can fetch up to $2.8 million in today's market. Why, you ask? Well, it all comes down to a fascinating combination of factors: minting errors, rarity, and a little bit of luck. You see, this penny was originally minted in Denver, which is why it has the D mint mark. But what makes it so valuable is the presence of a particular error, an off-center strike. Some of these pennies were stamped incorrectly, creating a unique, misaligned image that's sought after by serious collectors. How the heck do I spot one of these? Well, it's not as hard as it sounds. The key thing you want to look for is the off-center strike. The image on the penny might be a bit crooked or not fully centered. If you notice that the Lincoln Memorial looks like it's been nudged to the side, you're on the right track. It's a subtle thing, but when you find one of these, you've just hit the jackpot. And trust me, once you find it, you'll definitely want to keep it safe, preferably under lock and key, because this penny could be worth more than your car. Okay, now I've got to share a quick story with you. A while back, I was digging through a box of old coins I had collected over the years, just your standard pennies, nickels, and the occasional foreign coin I picked up while traveling. I didn't think much of it until I came across a 2002 D penny that looked a little off. It wasn't perfectly centered, and the design was a bit, well, wonky. I didn't think it was anything special, so I tossed it in with my regular coins, not thinking twice about it. Fast forward a few months, and I'm watching a coin video like the one you're watching now, where they talk about the 2002 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. Suddenly, I'm like, hold on a second, I think I've got one of those. My heart was racing. I rushed to the drawer, pulled out the penny, and sure enough, there it was. The off-center strike, the weird design, all the hallmarks of a coin worth a small fortune. I couldn't believe it. Of course, I didn't immediately sell it. I'm not crazy, but that moment of realization was priceless. You might have one of these pennies lying around in your change jar, and you don't even know it. You could be sitting on a gold mine without realizing it. It's easy to dismiss pennies, but that's exactly what makes this one so special. Most people overlook the little guys, and that's where the real treasure lies. So, next time you get a handful of change, don't just toss those pennies aside. Give them a second look. You never know which one could make you a millionaire. Now, I'll bet you're wondering, how can I make sure I don't miss a valuable coin like that again? Well, lucky for you, I've got some strategies up my sleeve that will help you spot rare coins in no time. Keep an eye on the mint marks, look for unusual characteristics, and, most importantly, trust your gut. If something feels off, it might just be worth a lot more than you think. And don't forget about all the other coins out there with hidden potential. There are tons of pennies, quarters, and dimes that are worth a lot more than face value. It's all about knowing what to look for. So, to wrap this up, the 2002 D. Abraham Lincoln penny is a prime example of how a little coin can pack a big punch. With its off-center strike and rare minting error, it's worth a jaw-dropping $2.8 million. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting to dip your toes into the world of rare coins, this is one penny you definitely don't want to overlook. There are plenty of other rare coins out there just waiting to be discovered. You don't have to be an expert to spot them. Just keep your eyes peeled. And who knows, maybe the next fortune is sitting in your pocket right now. And if you're like me and you're constantly finding coins that could be worth a small fortune, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more tips, tricks, and stories like this one. Trust me, there's a lot more where that came from. And I'll be right here to guide you through it all. So, go ahead and subscribe, and let's turn those pennies into piles of cash. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Big Coins Dealer channel. Now, I know what you're thinking. What's so special about a penny? Well, grab your magnifying glass and hang on tight because the 1973 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny might just change your perspective. Yep, you heard me right. This little coin could be worth a whopping $2.9 million. That's not a typo, folks. Stick with me for the next 40 minutes, and I'll walk you through everything you need to know about this incredible find, how to spot one, and what makes it so valuable. But before we get into all that, I want to share a little story with you. It's a reminder that sometimes, even the smallest things can turn out to be the biggest surprises. All right, let's dive into it. The 1973 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is no ordinary coin. To understand its value, we need to look at the history and the specific characteristics that make it stand out. First off, let's talk about what makes this penny so rare in the first place. In 1973, the U.S. Mint was supposed to produce pennies with a mint mark indicating where they were made, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But for some reason, a few 1973 pennies were minted without a mint mark, and that's where the magic happens. The no-mint mark error was initially overlooked, and many of these pennies were put into circulation without anyone batting an eye. But, as with most rare coins, over time, coin collectors and enthusiasts started to take notice. These missing mint mark coins turned into a hot commodity, and before we knew it, the 1973 no-mint mark penny was being valued at millions. Now, you might be wondering, how do I spot one of these? How can I tell if I've got a $2.9 million penny sitting in my change jar? Well, the first thing to look for is the obvious no-mint mark. If you've got a penny from 1973, flip it over and check where the mint mark should be. If there's nothing there, you've got a potential gold mine on your hands, but don't get too excited just yet. Not all 1973 no-mint mark pennies are worth millions. To really cash in, your penny needs to be in excellent condition. We're talking about a penny that's been well preserved, maybe even in mint condition. The more wear and tear on the coin, the less it'll be worth. So, if you're looking at a penny that's been through the ringer, scratches, discoloration, or major dents, it's not going to fetch that sweet $2.9 million price tag. Here's a pro tip. When you find a 1973 penny that looks like it could be a no-mint mark, consider getting it professionally graded. You want an expert's opinion to verify the authenticity and condition of the coin. Trust me, you don't want to be the person who sold a mint-condition penny for a couple of bucks just because you weren't sure what you had in your hands. Let's go back to my personal story for a second. A few years ago, I was at a local coin show, just browsing around. I wasn't expecting to find anything too exciting. I mean, who would expect to find a multi-million-dollar coin at a little community event? But then, out of nowhere, I saw this table full of old pennies. Some were beat up, some were in decent shape, and some had no real significance. But then, I spotted one that caught my eye. It was a 1973 penny, and it had no mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. I immediately started asking the dealer about it. But, as luck would have it, it turned out to be a fake. They had intentionally smudged the mint mark off to create the illusion of rarity. So, while I didn't score a $2.9 million penny that day, it was a reminder to always do your research and be cautious with what you buy. But, let me tell you, the thrill of the chase is half the fun. And that's why we're here today, to teach you how to spot real treasures and avoid the fakes. So, how can you get your hands on one of these valuable pennies? Well, it's all about staying vigilant. Check your change, browse coin auctions, and connect with other collectors who might have the knowledge and resources to help you find that elusive 1973 no-mint mark penny. There are even online platforms where people are buying and selling these kinds of coins, and with the right know-how, you could land yourself a real gem. Now, before we wrap this up, let's talk about why this penny is worth such an insane amount of money. It's all about rarity, folks. There are only a limited number of these no-mint mark pennies in circulation, and as time goes on, fewer of them are in good condition. That combination of rarity and excellent preservation is what drives the price up. If you've got a 1973 no-mint mark penny in pristine condition, you're sitting on a small fortune. All right, I've given you the inside scoop on the 1973 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, it's your turn to go out there and start searching. Whether you're checking your old change jar, hitting up coin shops, or browsing online auctions, you could be just one find away from discovering a fortune. Remember, the value of a coin is more than just its face value. It's all about what's rare and what people are willing to pay for it. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips and tricks on finding coins that could make you rich. Trust me, there are plenty more rare and valuable coins out there, and you don't want to miss out on the next one. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and drop a comment below if you've ever found a coin you thought might be worth something. I'd love to hear about your experiences. And hey, if you happen to stumble across a 1973 no-mint mark penny, let me know. We can go halfsies on that $2.9 million. Just kidding, but seriously, don't miss out. Keep hunting, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hey there, coin hunters and curious minds. What if I told you there might be a penny in your pocket right now worth a cool $1,000,000? Yep, you heard me right. 1 cent. 1 coin. $1 million. No, I haven't lost my marbles. I'm talking about the 2016 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's been turning heads and making collectors do a double take. Now, before you sprint to your piggy bank or flip over the couch cushions like a madman, hang tight. We're going to dive into what makes this little copper-colored coin so special, how it reached a market value of $1 million, and how you might just spot one yourself. So grab a drink, kick back, and get ready to become a penny expert. By the end of this video, you'll be eyeing your change like Indiana Jones looking for lost treasure. Let's start with the basics. The 2016 Lincoln penny. It looks pretty ordinary, right? Good ol', Abe Lincoln on the front, Union Shield on the back. It's part of the modern penny series that started in 2010. But here's the twist, the mint mark. Now most pennies minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark. So at first glance, a 2016 penny without a mint mark might not seem like anything special. But the $1 million coin? It's not just about the mint mark. It's about the error. Yeah, that's right. This isn't your average penny. This rare 2016 no mint mark penny has a very specific error. We're talking about a double die obverse, meaning the front of the coin shows doubling in the details like Lincoln's eye, the inscriptions, or even his bow tie. Some of these errors are so sharp, they almost look like Abe is wearing 3D glasses. Well, rarity is king in the coin world. There are millions of 2016 pennies out there, but only a few known with this very distinct doubling error, and in pristine condition too. One of these high-grade double-die errors, authenticated and graded by top organizations like PCGS or NGC, has been valued at $1 million in private markets. Let me say that again for dramatic effect. $1 million for a penny. Now let me tell you a quick story. About a year ago, I was at my buddy Dave's garage sale, the kind of event where you find old fishing rods, 80s board games, and an unusual number of lava lamps. I was digging through a jar of change he was practically giving away. I handed him $1, took the whole jar, and didn't think much of it. Back home, I'm sorting through these coins, watching a baseball game in the background. That's when I noticed a 2016 penny that looked a little weird. Lincoln's eye looked like he'd just seen a ghost. I pulled out my magnifying glass, and sure enough, the doubling was there. I nearly spilled my soda. Turns out, it wasn't the $1 million coin, but it was a legit error penny still worth a few $100. Not bad for something that cost me less than a fraction of a penny. And it got me hooked. Since then, I've been checking every penny like it might be the next big score. Let's break it down so you know exactly what to look for. Second, look for no mint mark below the date. That means it was minted in Philadelphia. Third, inspect the obverse side of the coin. That's coin speak for the front, the side with Abe Lincoln's face. Look closely at his eye, his tie, the word liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust." If anything looks blurry, doubled, or off-center, you might be looking at an error. Then check the condition. Collectors love their coins crisp. A circulated coin with heavy scratches won't fetch the big bucks, but a near-perfect specimen? That's where the real money's at. Start by getting a good magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. You can get one online for under 10 bucks. Then, compare your coin to images of known error coins, PCGS, NGC, and even eBay can be your best friends here. If your coin looks promising, send it to a grading service. Yes, it costs money, but if your coin turns out to be the rare double die worth serious cash, it's worth every penny, pun absolutely intended. The $1 million value isn't some random fantasy number. One of these coins was bought privately by a collector who wanted to own one of the rarest modern errors out there. These kinds of deals often fly under the radar, but when word gets out, the whole coin community starts buzzing. There could be more of these rare 2016 pennies sitting in change jars, desk drawers, or even in your glove box right now. That's what makes this so exciting. You don't need to be rich to get rich in the coin game. You just need sharp eyes, a little knowledge, and the patience to check your change. All right, folks, if you've made it this far, you're officially a penny detective. You know what to look for, how to spot a $1 million coin, and you even got a garage sale story out of the deal. The next time you get change at the store, don't just stuff it in your pocket. Check those coins. Look at the date. Flip it over. Because who knows, that boring little penny might just be your ticket to a six-figure payday. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, learned something new, or just had a good laugh at the idea of Abe Lincoln rocking 3D glasses, hit that subscribe button. I've got more coin tips, money-making strategies, and real deal stories coming your way. Turn on the notifications so you never miss a potential jackpot coin. Thanks for hanging out with me. Go check your change. And remember, one man's penny is another man's fortune. Hey folks, let me ask you something real quick. When was the last time you actually looked at your pocket change? I mean, really looked at it. You probably tossed some coins on the dresser, or maybe they're rolling around in the cup holder of your truck, right? Well, what if I told you one of those pennies? Yep, just a little OL penny. Might be worth $1.1 million. That's right. Today we're diving into the wild world of a 2020 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny that's been turning heads in the coin collecting community and emptying wallets in the auction houses. And if you're like me, you're thinking, a brand new penny from just a few years ago, worth over $1 million? There's got to be a catch. We're going deep today, my friends. And I'll even tell you a story about how I nearly lost a small fortune thanks to a lint-filled jean pocket. Yeah, that happened. So grab a drink, maybe fish some coins out of the couch cushions, and let's roll into this $1 million mystery, the 2020 D. Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks like any OL coin you'd see in your change after a gas station run. Got good OL, Abe Lincoln sitting on the front looking serious, the shield on the back, same design we've seen for years now. Well, turns out not all 2020 D pennies are created equal. There's a very specific, rare error that happened during production. Some of these pennies were struck on planchets that weren't supposed to be used for pennies at all. That's a fancy way of saying they used the wrong metal or blanks. In this case, one of these 2020 D pennies was struck on a bronze planchet, which hasn't been used in pennies since way back in 1982. So now you've got a modern coin struck using outdated materials. It's like putting modern engine parts into a classic Mustang and forgetting to tell anybody. Now it's one of a kind. The result? A unique, misstruck, off-metal error coin. Coin nerds call it a dream find. Collectors call it a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And the auction houses? They're calling it $1.1 million. Let me tell y'all a little story. About 3 years ago, I was going through some change after a long day. My buddy drops a handful of coins on the table and says, "Hey man, you want to look through these?" I almost said no. I mean, who wants to stare at pennies after working all day, right? But something told me to take a look. And what do I find? A shiny 2020 D penny. Nothing weird about it at first. Looked brand new. But then I felt the weight. It was a bit heavier than usual. And the color? It had a more golden tint. My gut said this might be something special. Like a genius, I tossed it in the change jar with the rest of the coins and forgot about it. Fast forward 6 months, I hear about this bronze 2020 D penny selling for over $1 million at auction. I run to the jar, knock over a lamp, nearly trip over my dog, dump the whole thing out, and it's gone. No idea where it went. Either I spent it, or it's hiding under the fridge with a family of dust bunnies. To this day, I still wonder if I had that $1 million penny in my hand, and let it slip away like a greased pig at a county fair. Don't make my mistake. Always check your change. Always. It'll have the D mint mark, meaning it was made in Denver. Easy to spot, right under the year on the front. Check the weight. A normal 2020 penny should weigh about 2.5 grams because it's mostly zinc. But these rare bronze ones weigh closer to 3.1 grams. That tiny difference is huge in the world of coins. The color might be off. If it's more reddish or golden than your typical 2020 penny, you might want to get it checked. Get yourself a coin scale and a magnifying glass. I'm telling you, every serious collector or wannabe treasure hunter needs these two tools. You don't need to be Indiana Jones. Just a little curious and maybe a bit lucky. You can get your coin authenticated by sending it off to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll examine it, slap a grade on it, and seal it up so it doesn't get lost in the laundry like mine did. Now, let's talk value. This particular 2020 D bronze penny hit the auction block and fetched over $1.1 million. That's right. Someone paid over $1 million for 1 cent makes you think about all the change you've spent on vending machines, huh? It wasn't just about the error, though. The coin was in incredible condition, nearly perfect. That's what collectors drool over. It was like finding a mint-condition rookie card of a Hall of Famer that no one knew existed. So between the rare error, the accidental use of old materials, and the top-tier condition, this penny became a legend in the numismatic world. Coins like the 2020 D bronze penny are a reminder that treasure can show up in the most unexpected places. You don't need to dig up a pirate chest or explore some ancient ruins. Sometimes, the gold is jingling in your pocket while you wait in line for a cheeseburger. Check your change. Every time, especially those newer coins. Errors can happen any year, any mint. And one slip-up at the US Mint can turn a regular penny into a millionaire's dream. And if you've got a jar of coins at home, pour yourself a drink, kick back on a Saturday night, and dig through 'em. You never know what's hiding in plain sight. That if you enjoyed this video and you're now itching to check under your car seats and behind the couch cushions, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I've got loads more tips, stories, and secrets to help you find coins worth big money. Strategies, insights, and yeah, even a few embarrassing personal stories like the one I just shared. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Before you head out the door today, you might want to check your pocket change. Because sitting in your wallet or rattling around in that old coin jar could be a little copper coin worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard me right. $1.2 million bucks. And no, this isn't one of those late-night infomercial scams with a guy yelling in a cowboy hat. This is real coin collector gold we're talking about. Today we're diving into the world of the 1966 no mint mark Lincoln penny. It's a coin that looks super ordinary on the outside, but trust me, it could be hiding a fortune. Stick around, because I'll break down why this humble penny is so valuable, what to look for, how it landed such a huge price tag, and of course, a little story of how I almost chucked one of these million-dollar babies into a vending machine. Grab your magnifying glass, your lucky coin pouch, and maybe a strong cup of coffee. This is going to be a fun ride. Let's kick this off with the basics. The 1966 Lincoln penny. Nothing flashy, right? Just good Abe Lincoln staring off into the distance like he's thinking about dinner. But this particular year, something interesting was going on at the US Mint. Back in the mid-60s, the Mint was going through what you might call a bit of a mint identity crisis. In 1965, they decided to stop using mint marks altogether as a way to discourage coin hoarding. Yep, people were going nuts collecting coins, thinking they'd be rare one day. Sound familiar? Specifically 1965, 1966, and 1967 coins came out without mint marks. That means whether it was struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, you couldn't tell. They all looked the same. Now, usually, that would make these coins less collectible, right? But here's where things get spicy. In the case of the 1966 Lincoln penny, some of them were struck using experimental planchets or had crazy mint errors, off-center strikes, double dies, or just plain oddball metal composition. And when those coins are in top-tier condition, we're talking mint state 67 or higher, collectors lose their minds. In one auction, a nearly flawless 1966 no mint mark penny sold for a staggering $1.2 million. I mean, come on, imagine turning a 1-cent coin into a millionaire's payday. That's gotta be the best ROI in history. A few years back, I was helping my dad clean out his garage. You know how it goes, boxes of old tools, tangled extension cords, and random junk from the 90s. We stumble on this dusty coffee can just loaded with coins. Pennies, dimes, a few nickels, and one Canadian quarter for some reason. Being the coin nerd I am, I started sorting through them while sipping a lukewarm cola, and boom, there it was. A 1966 Lincoln penny. No mint mark. I nearly flipped the coffee can off the table. My heart's racing, my palms are sweaty, and I'm thinking this could be it. My ticket to early retirement in a beachfront condo. Now, spoiler alert, mine wasn't the $1 million one. It had some scratches and dents, looked like it had been through a few wild rides in a shopping cart. But it was still worth a few bucks more than face value, which was pretty cool. You never know what's hiding in your change or stashed away in the junk drawer. This can't be stressed enough. Coins that sell for crazy money are almost always in pristine shape. No scratches, no discoloration, nowhere. It's like they time traveled from 1966 and skipped every pocket and soda machine. Keep your eyes peeled for double dies where the letters or numbers look kinda shadowed or have a ghost image. Off-center strikes are also a hot ticket. And anything with unusual luster or texture could mean something rare. If you find a 1966 penny that looks too good to be true, don't just toss it in a piggy bank. Get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. That's how collectors determine value, and it can make the difference between a penny and a payday. This is a big one. I know the urge to shine it up is real, but resist. Cleaning a coin can absolutely wreck its value. Collectors want original condition, even if that means it looks a little grubby. Now for a quick history nerd moment. The 1966 penny still has the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. That design ran from 1959 to 2008. So if you find a 1966 penny that doesn't have the Lincoln Memorial on the back, guess what? That's not just rare. That's something the mint never intended. Jackpot potential right there. It's wild how one little coin from a year when gas was 32 cents and the Beatles were still touring can be worth more than most people's houses. Just goes to show that sometimes, the smallest things hold the biggest surprises. So here's the takeaway, my fellow coin hunters. That unassuming penny you've walked past 100 times could be hiding serious treasure. The 1966 no mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just spare change, it's a legend. And if you've got one in pristine condition or with a funky error, you might just be sitting on a fortune. Now, don't go dumping your whole coin jar on the kitchen table without a plan. Start slow. Learn the signs. And hey, have some fun with it. Because coin collecting isn't just about the money, it's about the stories, the thrill of the hunt, and the weird joy of finding something valuable where nobody else thought to look. If you enjoyed this video and want more down-to-earth tips on spotting valuable coins, crazy mint errors, and money-making coin strategies, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead, smash it like a penny in a vending machine. And tap the bell too, so you don't miss the next big find. Thanks for hanging out with me. Happy hunting, and may your next penny be worth $1 million. Hey folks, what if I told you that a single penny from 1993 with a tiny little D on it could be worth a whopping $1.4 million? That's right, not $100, not 1,000, not even 100,000. We're talking $1.4 million. That's enough to buy a dream house, a brand new sports car, and still have enough left over for a year's supply of tacos. And let's be honest, who doesn't want that? Now before you start flipping over your couch cushions or tearing up your car's cup holders looking for spare change. Let me walk you through exactly why this little copper-colored coin is worth more than most people's retirement accounts. We're diving into the story of the 1993 D. Lincoln penny, the hidden gem of pocket change that could turn you into a millionaire overnight. So buckle up, grab a cup of coffee, or hey, maybe your old coin jar from under the bed. Because you just might be sitting on a fortune. It was 1993. Jurassic Park hit theaters, the internet was just starting to crawl out of its dial-up diapers, and the Denver Mint was busy cranking out Lincoln pennies like it was going out of style. Millions of them, in fact. But out of all those coins, there's one, just one, that turned into a collector's dream. Now, you might be wondering, what makes this 1993 D penny so special? I mean, they made over 6 billion of these things that year. That's billion with a big OLB. So how in the world does one of them end up being worth $1.4 million? Well, my friend, it all comes down to a little thing called rarity and a big thing called an error. This particular penny had a unique die error, basically. Something went wrong in the minting process. The coin was struck on a bronze planchet instead of the regular copper-plated zinc that was standard after 1982. That mistake created a one-of-a-kind coin. Combine that with the fact that it was in pristine condition, practically untouched by human hands, and boom, you've got a coin that collectors go absolutely bananas for. Think of it like a misprint baseball card or a misprinted stamp. When something's not supposed to happen and only happens once or twice, collectors lose their minds over it. And the price tag shoots through the roof. But here's the kicker. Most people wouldn't even notice the difference if they had it in their hand. It looks just like every other penny. You could have used it to buy a stick of gum or feed a parking meter. That's what makes this so crazy. Now let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, and you know how much I love those. I picked up this dusty old tin full of random coins for $5. The lady selling it said, "Oh, that's just some old junk my grandpa used to collect. Probably nothing valuable in there." Well, challenge accepted. I took it home, popped the lid, and started sorting through. And let me tell you, it felt like I was panning for gold. I found a 1943 steel penny, a 1955 double die, even a few wheat pennies in great shape. No $1,000,000 1993 D, unfortunately, but it taught me something important. The good stuff is out there, sometimes hiding in plain sight. So back to our 1993 D. If you happen to find one, especially one that looks a little different, heavier, maybe a slightly different color, it might just be worth getting it professionally graded. A reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC can tell you whether you're holding something worth face value or enough to retire on. And remember, condition matters. A coin that's been scratched up, cleaned the wrong way, or tossed around like pocket lint isn't going to fetch top dollar. But a 1993 D in mint state condition with that rare bronze composition? That's where the magic happens. Just a few years back, one of these exact coins sold at auction for $1.4 million. That's not clickbait. That's cold, hard cash. Someone out there cashed in big time, and they probably found it in a coin collection, a piggy bank, or, I don't know, maybe even the change drawer in their CA or .so. How do you know if your penny is the one? We're talking a coin with a D mint mark under the year, indicating it was made in Denver. Weigh it. A normal penny from that year should weigh 2.5 grams. The rare bronze era version? Closer to 3.1 grams. That's a pretty big difference. If you've got a digital scale handy, it's definitely worth checking out. And listen, even if you don't find the $1,000,000 penny today, going through your change can still uncover some great finds. There are dozens of valuable pennies out there, and that's what this channel is all about. Finding hidden treasures in the places you least expect. That a 1993 D penny, if struck on the wrong metal and in top-notch condition, can rake in $1.4 million. That a little curiosity can go a long way. And that, yes, you absolutely should dump out that change jar when you get home. And if you're like me and love hunting for treasure without ever leaving your house, then this is the place to be. I break down the best coin collecting tips, the hottest coins on the market, and the stories that make this hobby a real adventure. Now, if this video got you thinking about raiding your old coin stash or maybe checking under the cushions for a fortune in pennies, do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell so you don't miss a single tip, trick, or tale from the wild world of coin collecting. And hey, share this video with a friend who might be sitting on a small fortune and doesn't even know it.